A Pere Davids deer has webbing between its toes and is an excellent swimmer. Pere Davids deer live in large groups. They are herbivores that mostly eat grass. The average lifespan of this deer is 18 years. Most female Pere Davids deer have just one baby or fawn. A fawn stands up and nurses its mother within hours of being born. Pere Davids deer are from the northeastern and east-central parts of China. They live in swamps and marshlands. These deer have spread hooves with webbing to help them swim. They are social animals living together in large groups. These deer have a reddish coat in the summer and gray coat in the wintertime. In the summertime, a Pere Davids deer has a reddish-brown coat with a black stripe on its shoulder. But, in the winter, its coat turns grayish-brown. These colors help to camouflage the deer during different seasons. Male Pere Davids deer have antlers that measure 21 to 31 inches in length. Antlers that are 31 inches long are equal in length to 2 stacked bowling pins. Male deer use their antlers to fight other males when competing for females during mating season. These deer may rear up on their hind legs and clash their antlers together in combat. A Pere Davids deer is 6.5 to a little over 7 feet long. A 7-foot-long deer is as long as a large Christmas tree. Also, this deer can weigh from 298 pounds to 441 pounds. A 441 pounds Pere Davids deer is equal in weight to half of a full-grown horse. While 441 pounds is the heaviest weight of a Pere Davids deer, a white-tailed deer can grow to be a little over 500 pounds. The Pere Davids deer has hooves, but they are different from the hooves of other types of deer. Most deer have hooves that are narrow with the toes pressed close together. Alternatively, a Pere Davids deer has hooves that are spread out with webbing between their toes. Why? These hooves help to move Pere Davids deer through the water as they swim in swamps and marshes. Many of these deer spend a lot of time standing in water that can go as high as their shoulders. The unique design of this deer's hooves are great for swimming, but they don't particularly add to its speed. A Pere Davids deer can only run about 18 miles per hour. Compare this to a white-tailed deer that can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour or a reindeer that can run 50 miles per hour. These deer are social, outgoing mammals and like to live in large groups, sometimes called a herd, gang or mob. When Pere Davids deer were plentiful, there may have been dozens or even hundreds of deer in a herd. Plus, living in a herd provides protection from a predator such as a tiger. Once the deer start running, a tiger has a challenging time finding and separating one deer to attack. In addition, a group of running deer can injure a tiger that's trying to enter the herd. Pere Davids deer are from northeastern and east-central China. They are originally from a subtropical climate living in marshlands and around swamps. Their webbed hooves allow them to spend a lot of time swimming. Their hooves also offer them support while walking in muddy, soggy areas. What do Pere Davids deer eat? They are herbivores and eat a diet of mostly grass. However, if grass is in short supply, especially during the wintertime, they will eat aquatic plants that grow in and around the marshlands. Pere Davids deer instinctively know what types of grasses and plants to eat. But, if they eat grass or other vegetation that's been contaminated with chemicals or pesticides, they can become very ill or die. The official conservation status of the Pere Davids deer is extinct in the wild. Back in the late 1800s there were just a few of these deer left in China. Their population had been greatly reduced by people hunting and eating them. A small group of these deer belonged to the Emperor of China named Tongzi. But, a flood knocked down a fence where the deer were kept, and they escaped. those deer were hunted and eaten by peasants and soldiers in the area. So, when they lived in the wild, their main predator was man. Tigers also preyed on Pere David's deer. Today, there's a relatively small number of Pere David's deer living in captivity in zoos and sanctuaries. Efforts are being made to increase the population of these deer while they are living in protected areas. Mating season is in June for this deer. A male Pere David's deer joins a group of females to mate with one or more. During this time, the male deer is likely to fight with other male deer to protect the group of females he is with. Male deer hit or box each other with their antlers as a way of fighting. The stronger male wins. A female's gestation period is about 9 months and she gives live birth to a baby, also called a fawn, in April or May. Most female Pere David's deer have one fawn. Having 2 fawns at a time is more rare. Fawns weigh between 25 pounds and 29 pounds at birth and start growing quickly. Like other fawns, these deer are born with white spots on their coat. The spots disappear as they grow older. A fawn can see when it's born but can't walk right away. However, a fawn struggles to get up and put weight on its legs almost immediately. This makes a lot of sense. If the newborn fawn stayed on the ground in the wild, it would be vulnerable to predators such as tigers or Corsac foxes. A fawn nurses its mother until they are weaned and begin to eat grass with the older deer. A fawn stays with its mother for about 14 months when it's ready to survive without help from her. Pere David's deer live to be about 18 years old in the wild. The oldest a Pere David's deer has lived is 23 years, and that was in captivity where these deer are well cared for. As these deer grow older, they're prone to diseases affecting their muscle tissue, also known as myopathy. Incidentally, this type of myopathy is similar to equine myopathy occurring in horses. Though Pere David's deer official conservation status is extinct in the wild, there are some exceptions. The efforts made by conservationists to increase the population have begun to work. Some of these deer have been released back into the wild in the hopes they will breed and increase the population even more. Also, there are still many Pere David's deer being cared for in zoos and other sanctuaries. The population is estimated at around 2,000. One of the reasons for the slow population growth of this mammal is a female deer only has one baby per litter. But, if the population of Pere David's deer continues to grow, it may receive a new, updated conservation status.